Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Evolving You. I'm your host, Danielle.
I'm Cardell.
And we have a special guest with us for this episode. We call her our mother. She has been such a great mentor for us personally and business-wise. We do want to welcome the one and the only Pastor Michele Winston right here. See how I hype you up? See how I just did that?
Thank you.
I met her as I attended Greater Community Church of Chattanooga when I was in Chattanooga, now in California. So that I'm glad that I had that moment because I'm so grateful for this woman of God being in my life. Today's episode, we are going to tackle a topic that I feel like a lot of people deal with: potential versus progression. And it's a topic that my co-host, Cardell, was thinking about, praying about, popped in his head. So I'm going to kind of let him introduce this topic and set it up for us today.
So kind of the thing is, we realize in life, you can see the potential in something, but are you really progressing to where it needs to go? Because you're just like, okay, I'm dealing with this person because I see the potential in them. Because I mean, that's one thing that Daniel, when we first started the business, you try to adjust to everything. So I know when I first started the business with Danielle, there's some things that I should have been doing, but I wasn't doing. And I told her up front, hey, I apologize that I'm not doing what I need to be doing and different things of that nature. And she hit me with this quote: I see you now, but in the future, you look much better. So when she said that quote, she saw the potential in me. But if she did not see me progressing, it was no need of her still working with me. So it's the point of sometimes you see the potential in a person, but really, what is that person progressing with? Are they still in the potential stage? Are they in a progression stage? Are they doing everything they said that they was going to do? Are you still in a potential stage where you're just saying, I have the abilities to do this, but you're not moving forward? So it's basically just getting the groundwork of really digging into who you are as a person. Am I living in my potential or am I living in my progression?
That's it. That's good. That's good.
Awesome. That was a great setup. We love that. So now, I guess our question, jumping off real quick to you, Mama Winston, Pastor Winston. You may have a lot of names throughout this episode. Just want to let you
know. Yes.
whatever. I don't know. We never know. But I guess the question to you is, for that potential versus progression, can you kind of break down the general idea of how some people get the two confused?
Yes. When we talk about potential, I thank God for both of you, my friend kids is what I call you all. Y'all keep me on my toes at all times. But when we talk about that potential, it talks about having or showing the capacity to become. You have the capacity, you have it in you to become something great, and you have to be developed in that for something in the future. And I think the process of you realizing that you do have potential, sometimes we have it, and sometimes we kind of lose focus, and then we get back. And sometimes it takes somebody seeing you and poking you and encouraging you and staying on top of you. And we don't realize that it's not everybody is not always driven. You have to be driven. Let's talk about that. When you have potential, you have to have a drive.
Deal with the drive.
You have to have drive. You gotta want this thing. You got to say, come hell or high water, I don't care what happens, that I'm going to birth this, I'm going to see this happen, I'm going to make it happen. And if you don't have that drive, then you're going to have to get somebody that can help you be accountable for your life, not just for the dream, because sometimes we can get caught on the dream, but just for your life. It's important to have people around you that can, that can pour into you. And it's not going to always be good. It's not going to always be, oh, you're going to be all right. Oh, no, it's going to be, no, you need to get your stuff together. You slacking, you lacking, you're not praying, you're not focused. You haven't what's your goals for the week? What did you accomplish any of your goals for the week? Even if it's as simple as a breakdown like that, where you find somebody that can challenge you, that every week you set up different goals that you need to do, and somebody hold you accountable for those goals that you set for the week. It don't make it hard. Don't make it be for the year. Let's just start with the week.
Let's start with the week.
Let's start with the week. It's some things that you need to do from today is Sunday till next Sunday. You need to write those things down, and how somebody needs to, if you are slipping in your potential, you need to have somebody that's going to hold you accountable. Like I said, for the week, that you can call every Sunday, every Saturday, and let's go over, did you do this? Did we accomplish this? Did we do this? Because a lot of times we do, like Cardell says, we give up on ourselves. We get tired, we get weary, we get thrown off by life's challenges. We in a pandemic, you can get thrown off by that. You can get thrown off by just money issues. You can get thrown off by just all kind of stuff, family issues, or just in yourself, your own insecurities. Question yourself, is this really God? Did God really say this? Am I supposed to be doing this? Is this something I really want? Is this me? Is this somebody else? Who vision is this? It's you almost question yourself out of your own destiny.
You know what?
Don't question yourself out of your own destiny. How can you be excited about something one day and then the next day you trying to figure out, well, it really is it gonna happen? You was just excited. You was excited 2 days ago.
Just, you know what?
Just
I'm so glad
excited 2 days ago.
I knew you were gonna preach. I knew it. I was like, she can't come on here and not have a word for the people. I was just waiting and preparing my soul. I didn't know it was gonna come so early. But questioning yourself out of your own destiny, that's really the issue we have with the potential versus progression. But I do want to go back to something else that you mentioned. Sometimes we can't progress because we sugarcoat the situation, or we have people in our circle sugarcoating the situation.
Yes.
You as a leader, how do you motivate someone to get past, you got to stop sugarcoating it, you got to stop watering it down? How do you spoon feed them the hard medicine? Because as a pastor, you can't get up there and sugarcoat the word.
That's right.
So how do you recommend that someone else would not sugarcoat it if they have someone in their circle who they feel are just at a standstill and not progressing at all?
I believe sometimes it's about even saying it. You just got to watch how sometimes you don't want to say it too hard. You have to feel and know the person. Sometimes you got to know as a leader or a person that's close to somebody, you got to know when to come in with a loving voice, and sometimes you got to know when to come in with a side eye, like what are you doing? And so that takes you knowing the person or loving the person. And when you come to the person, you have to be ready enough to know that I'm not going to hurt you. You got to know that I love you enough, that I see so much in you that I'm not going to tell you something that's going to hurt you. And then even I've had people hurt my feelings, even though they've said something and it hurt my feelings, but I had to go back and kind of pick that situation out to say, is it some truth to this? And so I might have been in my feelings, but when you're moving in faith, we don't have time for feelings. When you get in your feelings, you'll either stop moving or you'll be mad for some reason. Sometimes you need that sting, or you need that hit in your side to make you even move forward. Sometimes different leaders in my life made me so mad. It made me mad that I felt like I had to prove a point. But if they never would have made me mad, then I never would have got to that point. So a lot of times it's on the person with the potential. You need to check yourself on how you see things. You can't see it from the eyes of that person is out to hurt me. You take every word and okay, they said I didn't do this, or they said I was like that. And you need to really sift through that to see if you're really doing that. Some of it may be the truth, and some of it may be not necessarily a lie, but it can be that is not. They may not know all your circumstances and situations, and they may judge you wrong. And so you have to learn how to decipher through all of that before you just throw out everything somebody says. Sometimes you just got to come on out and say it. Sometimes you just have to watch your tone and how you see it. My husband and I talk about that all the time, about your tone. Your tone has to be right when you come to individuals. It can't always be like you think you know everything. You still, but like I said, I done had some rough people in my life, so they come at you hard. But because of that, I wouldn't be where I am today. But you have to learn that even in them coming at you hard, you would rather somebody come at you or don't have anybody coming at all. And so you have to learn, you don't have time to be in your feelings. You ain't got time to be mad. You have to really take what they've given you, because sometimes we see so much in you. When you have potential, it's like, you ever been somewhere and you looked at somebody and said, that person need to be, I've seen people and said, they need to be on TV. Right. Somebody needs to see the gift that they have. They need to be in corporate America. They need to be, I can look at somebody and say, they need to be over a company. They need to be, she needs to be on TV. She needs to be a singer. She needs to be out here traveling. I can see it in you and tell you about it, but it's up to you to work that.
That's good.
It's up to you. When you have potential and people see it, you can have it all over you all day long. You can have it, but it's up to you to recognize and believe in yourself, to know, okay, now I got to get out my feelings. Can't keep getting mad every time somebody says something about me. Just you're gonna have to be honest with some people and be honest with yourself.
That's very true.
And that's so good, because it's the point of, that's my favorite quote, is change your perspective. It's like you say, everything that frustrates you, you need to turn that into fuel. You need to say, okay, that made me mad, but let me change the way that I'm processing it. Because once you start changing how you process that, now you're able to say, okay, they're just saying this because they know that I can go further. They're just saying this because I am stuck where I am. So it's like, you can't take offense to everything that a person says to you, because you might miss your blessing getting caught up in your feelings. You upset because they told you that you need to get up at this certain time and you needed to get this amount done by a certain time. And then you like, wow, you don't know my life. You don't know what I'm doing, but you need to say, okay, well, maybe I can do it at this time. Maybe I can adjust here. It's just all about adjusting and adapting in that situation, and not being consumed by somebody just saying they told you in a harsh way. Because like you say, the tone is very important. You can say a word, you can say one sentence and it means two different things. You can say, I don't know why you did this. This is just crazy. And then when somebody hears that tone, they automatically shut down. Right. But if you come to them and say, hey, I saw that you did this. Why did you do this? I'm just kind of confused. There's two different ways that now I'm like, okay, well, I see what you're saying. Like, oh, my bad. I didn't mean to. But when you get that angry tone, people automatically shut down. So it's just like, even people need to understand how you talk to people affects the way you hinder their potential. Because I may have the potential all day, but how you're talking to me to pour out my potential, that isn't working. So you might need to address your thought process of how you perceive different information to people.
Yes. And it is important, especially with the generation that you all are in. See, like I said, I was in the generation, you had to get it, you had to catch it from all forms of leadership and all of that. But this new generation, you have to watch your tone and how you word it. Like you said, you have to word all of it carefully, as not to, and I wouldn't say offend, but you don't want them to turn off. So it's like they're there physically, but mentally and hearing you, they turn it off because you've said something that kind of throw them and they can't get off of that. And so you have to watch your tone. That's why I say you have to assess, who you're dealing with. But still it goes back to that individual. If you're going to move forward in life, you can't always turn that switch off though. Because when you get in corporate America, people gonna say stuff to you, and you can't always be like, well, if you come to me, everybody not gonna have the right tone.
Mhm.
So it goes both ways. I can see, the leader that's really passionate and wants you to get it, or the mother or the father that wants you to get it, and they saying stuff. Then I can see the other person saying, well, they always just barking at me, and they doing this, and they saying this. I can see both sides of it. So it's like, you're going to have to find somebody that can be almost like a life coach to you, that's able to, help you maneuver. We really, sometimes we think we can just do this by ourselves, and sometimes we can't do it, especially when it's a lot going on. Sometimes you need a life coach or somebody that you can, really talk to, that's been through some things, and say, hey, this happened today. And I want to tell you about what's going on with me in my life, so that you can stay on point and where you need to be. And so that means they're going to fuss at you. They just going to do it. You just going to get fussed at. You just got to just suck it up, buttercup. You going to get it.
Suck it up. Suck it
You
up.
got to suck it up. I'm sure on Danielle's job, people come for her sometimes. You can't always click that button and not listen.
Right.
So that's why I said it is good to watch your tone as a leader. But if you are the one that they're leading, or if you're the mentee or what, you have to learn how to not turn that off, that your feelings not so easily hurt that you cut that off. You're going to miss something of importance.
Right.
Like I said, and you have to know that that person genuinely loves you. If I know that person loves me and they want the best for me, or they're my leader and they just want the best out of me, or, then sometimes they're going to say some words that's going to be, especially in the heat of the moment, they're going to say some things, and they may come back and apologize. But if they don't, let me just take it, because I know it's going to help build my potential. I hate for you to squander your potential because of some hurt feelings.
Ooh.
And I see that you squandering your potential because your feelings hurt. And I'm like, people not gonna spare your feelings. You get in corporate America, you get in business, they're not gonna squander your feelings. So I think sometimes we expect certain people to be a certain way, and then you get in corporate America and somebody say one wrong thing to you. How you gonna make millions of dollars and then you want to get mad every time something don't go your way?
How, Sway?
How?
You make millions when you get mad.
Sway?
How? That's good. We're gonna quote you. I have so many quotes from you already.
Do the quote.
So many quotes. How are you gonna make millions when you mad? I want to go back to the life coach suggestion you made, just to play devil's advocate real quick, because I'm good for that.
Yes.
So hypothetically speaking, I get a life coach and they are also telling me something I don't want to hear, because I don't know what it is about millennials and just my generation. We're a different breed. We can hire somebody to give us advice, but if we don't like the advice that they're giving us, we mad all over again. So what do you recommend someone would do? Like if I get a life coach, I don't really like them. I got a therapist, don't like them either. Found a mentor, they not telling me what I want to hear. Are there any options, or should I just chill and pray and just get some things right with myself?
What happens with that is your stubbornness is going to keep you from moving forward. And so you'll look up 10 years from now and trying to figure out why you're in the same spot. You have to be careful when you have such a strong, stubborn spirit, in the Bible, it talks about kicking against the prick. You're kicking against the change that needs to happen in your life. And if you're kicking against it, you'll keep finding yourself in the same spot, or you keep blaming the people and not seeing what you need to do for what you need to do for your business or for your situation. You want to blame everybody else instead of seeing yourself in it. And so I'm not saying there's nothing you can do. Yeah, you can go on out there on your own. You go on out there. Go on out there, bump your head a whole bunch of times. And then it's going to lead you right back to, okay, then you're going to say, well, what did I do? What did I not do? That stuff will start recalling in your mind. And even if you have to pray and seek God, and God will bring you a remembrance. I sent somebody to tell you how many people I got to send to you, how many prophets, how many preachers, how many words, how many people, just random people saying different, giving you different things. You can watch Oprah, you can watch Ayana, you can watch T.D. Jakes, you can watch Stephen Furtick, Joel Osteen, you can keep on Tony Robbins, you can watch all these folks. But it has to, you have to be willing to change. You have to get sick of your own self.
That's good.
Sick of you dragging your feet, and you'll look up, and like I said, and it'll be 10 years past, and you'll be trying to grab the straws up and say, okay, let me get this thing together. And we've all done that, where, you know, we go back to revisit where we're supposed to be. We might have been delayed about a year or some months or a couple of years. We were supposed to be in school, didn't work out, or we were supposed to already started something and we didn't do it. But my thing is to not let it go far, even if you have to set a time limit. And I'm not saying you putting a time limit on God. You're really putting that time limit on yourself. To say by the end of the year, if I have not done, see, setting goals is so important till we making it. But I'm not talking about these major big old, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm talking about, like, I'm gonna start getting up early in the morning and doing my morning meditation with the Lord, so I can see where he's leading me for this job, where he's leading me for this position, for he can lead me for school or for whatever adventure that you're going on. If you don't set goals to do that, if you're not doing that after you know you're supposed to do it, then what happens is you find yourself in a cycle, a trap, and you're in this cycle. My sister calls it being a transient. It's like you're going around in a circle.
Come on, got me going in circles.
You going in a circle and you can't get off, and it's really you're doing it to your own self, not, you know, you have to learn how to get off. That getting off means you have to change some things in your own life. You have to change the way you see things. You have to change your routines. You have to change people around you. You have to change people around you.
That's hard to do.
You got to change people around.
What if I really like them now? Like, what if we best friends since high school? Come on.
You just got to slide him in another category.
See, I have categories, but some people say I'm a little petty for that. But I do have categories, and I believe very strongly in my categories. You have best friend status, then we have acquaintances, then we have the associates. And really, acquaintances and associates, they really on that same level together. We not on best friend status. You gotta be up there to get best friend status.
Yes.
Friend status, you on my do not disturb list, meaning if you interrupt my sleep, I won't be mad. That's a status to achieve. I'm with you. You have to put them in a different category sometimes.
Yes. And sometimes they may slide down the pole a little bit. And you might have to lift somebody else up, because it just depends on what you're doing and where you're going at that time. And so, you know, so if you have somebody that complains a lot, it's causing you to be stressed out and causing you to, you know, not be at a certain, you know, level that you need to be on. Sometimes you let them know, you say, right now, I'm not going to be able to deal with that. I'm just really not going to be able to, I can't deal with that right now. And it's hard to have those conversations, you know, with people, especially when you love them or whatever. but you have to do what's going to be helpful to you. And so that's when you have people in your life and God is moving you from one place to another place. That's why you see a lot of people get messed up, or you think, oh, she changed and she ain't the person I used to know. She all that, he all that now. He's talking about he got a business. Yeah, but you're not doing nothing. And so you have to have people that understand, look, okay, I'm moving this way, and people can support you. But if they're not showing you that support, then you have to learn how to, you still talk to them, but they may not be getting the information that they normally get from you.
Very true. Very true.
They have limited access to you. And so a lot of it is personal change. So you can be as stubborn as you want and get stuck in your, cycle, or you can come off the cycle and come off the treadmill where you running, but you're not moving. You're still on the treadmill. That's the way I see it.
Running,
you
but
on
not
it,
moving.
running, but you ain't really going nowhere.
Running, exerting so much energy.
Yeah.
And one thing is too, that when you stuck in that cycle, I think we get sometimes stuck in that cycle because we're just like, it may not be happening fast enough. Like, I know somebody has prophesied in my life. They have said the potential that I have, that I can be this, I can be that. But then you don't see it happen fast enough. So now it's just like, did they really see it? Now so many people are questioning themselves. They're doubting themselves. Like, did they really mean to say that to me? Or are they just saying it just because they wanted to feel gratification or anything like that? Because it's like a lot of times people get lost of, okay, this is what they said, but I don't see it happen quick enough. So it's like, so really, how do we move from the state of, I know I have all this potential, but how do I progress? How do I get to that next level? Because it's like, I feel like I'm still in the same place. It's good you said that. I agree with what you said, but when I don't see it happening fast enough, what do I do? Because I don't feel like I'm progressing.
That goes to the next thing, progression. You have to know what that is. It is the process of developing. And that's what we miss. It's the process of developing. It's like telling a child, when my children were younger, I'm just to talk about this, one of my sons, I'm not gonna call any names, but he was prophesied to when he was not even in high school yet. He was probably in elementary school, and they prophesied to him that he would always have money, that the favor of God was on his life, that God would open up unusual doors for him, that he was just going to always flow in the area of money like that. Now, he was a child. He don't really understand that. He thought I was going to give him some money. No, baby, no.
What a money.
Mama, where the money reside? Where the money reside? Where the money reside? I'm like, where the money reside? Not here. That was the prophet said that God was gonna provide for you, not me. But what happens in the process? There is a process of developing, moving gradually. See, we don't want to move gradual. The word did go forward, but there is still a developing that has to happen. And we want to skip the developing and go straight to the promise, when what happens is, when you get the promise, if you're not ready for that, then you will squander what God has for you, or you'll have a character flaw that will bring the whole house tumbling down. And I would rather my prophecy come to pass over a period of time of developing to get to that promise than for the whole thing to fall just because I think I'm ready for something and I'm really not. And so in the process of waiting, you're just developing. You're getting your mindset ready. You're checking your feelings. You're checking my mindset, my heart. Is my heart in the right place? Can I really, at this point, could I really, a lot of times we be saying, could they be a millionaire? Yeah. Could they really be a millionaire at this age? if you got bad habits now, it's going to just intensify once you get that millionaire status or that fame status. You see people, you know, they can't handle the fame. You see people start doing drugs or alcohol or relying on different, different vices to help them during this time. Those are things that we don't realize that God is building in us even now. Even when we look back in scripture and we look how even Jesus, his life progressed. He was a prophet from the beginning. He was a man of God from the beginning. But he had, when Jesus had to grow up and be with parents. I mean, in the Bible, he would tell his mother told him to make that water into wine. He was like, woman, I have nothing to do with this. He knew what he had on the inside. He already knew it was there, but he had to wait till the proper time. And we want to skip over the proper time and we want to move forward. But if you look at the stresses that we've had, even during this coronavirus and different things like that, you see the stresses we've had over just little things. Just think if you had more of that, and we wouldn't be ready for it. So if you've been promised, it's not that people have told you a lie. I believe they spoke that over your life. They see that potential in you. But in that potential, you have to know that there is progression. The progression is the process of developing, moving gradually towards a more advanced state. A more advanced state. That means a state of mind, a state of getting your finances straight, a state, whatever that state is that you're working towards, or to be education, a state of preparing, knowing more about your business and looking at other people that are doing it, learning from them, watching, seeing. I mean, like I'm a person that's obsessed with documentaries. Like, I want to see, how did you live your life? How did this happen? I'll read a book about an autobiography in a minute. I got to know, how did you get there? What was the pitfalls? Where was the nobody made it instantly. And so when you see a lot of people that's out here, even on Instagram, doing crazy things, then you see how they had to, do stupid stuff to get views and followers and all of that. And you have to be careful of that. Because that instant and anything that's instant and quick is not going to be as good as something that has been simmered or cooked, or that you had to bake in the oven for a while. A microwave cake is not as good as one that you don't put the flour in it. Cordell, you a baker. I'm not a baker. But I've tasted both types of cakes, and I had that you just pop it in there and you be like, oh, okay, that tastes pretty good, but it's nothing like a homemade cake. And so God is hand and home making you for something.
That's good. That's good.
He's pouring in things inside of you that nobody can understand how you got that flavor. You was like, I sat on this, I cried for this, I worked for this. I in the midnight hours, and I didn't see my way. I was asking God why. Don't nobody know how you got it, but they just know that when they get a taste of it, when they really see you operating and flowing in the anointing in your business or on your job or in your life, in ministry, whatever it is, you cooking or you making signs or posters or posts or whatever, and people see that in your life, say, how did they get that? Because they don't know what behind the scenes what was going on. So no, your prophecy was not a lie, but there is a process of development that has to come forth. Progression is developing.
That's good.
God has to develop everything in you. And so that means even the little boy, the hurt little boy or little girl that's in you has to grow up, because we can't have this hurt person in this big body and we trying to figure out what's wrong with them, what's wrong with them, what's going on. So you let God develop that in you. And baby, when that cake get ready to be served up, they be saying, wow, what is going on? All of that, all the hurt, all the pain, all the struggle, all the questioning. I thought I was to be there by now. All of that is making you to be who you're going to be.
I was listening to Sarah Jakes Roberts today, and she said sometimes we overlook the process of pain. Sometimes we want to hop past it and get it over with really quick. But she said sometimes pain pushes you to the next level. Because if you were not at a point of pain, then you would not try to do all you could to press to the next level. So you have to understand that the pain was not there to necessarily bring you down. The pain or the moment of progression was there to push you to the next level. Because if you're not at a moment of, I should have been there by now, then you never will work to get there.
Right.
You get there instantly. You can lose it instantly, like you said.
And it leads to ungratefulness. If you ever given somebody something and they just be ungrateful, you be ready to pop them in their mouth. Like,
they got it too fast. Right. But when you save your money for it.
Yes. You done saved your money, your hard-earned money. You don't wash dishes. You done put some money aside. Right. You done get some side hustles. You counting. You like, I got this little stash over here. Like, I'm gonna count it up over here on the side. And you like, oh yeah. I got him 1, 2, 3.
Come on,
4,
dollars.
5. Oh yeah, I done saved all my stash. You got a little stash over here. So I'm sitting by my little drawer with my little stash on the side.
Right.
You gotta have your little stash like a little old lady. You be like, okay, I did. Yeah, you done worked out. I mean, it's a lot of ones. It's a lot of ones. I ain't get that other stack out. Y'all need to know what's in the big stack. You saving that. I mean, and every little bit help. I mean, the coins. I got the coins.
Right. It hit differently when you save, though. It hit differently for me when I was a kid. When my parents gave me money to go in the store and say, "Hey, get a toy," the toy was broke the next week. But when I saved my money to get a toy, I cared for the toy like it was my child. It just hit differently when you use your money to spend something than when you get it instantly. It's different when you work hard for it. Because then you say, I work hard for this, so I can't lose it. You work harder to keep it.
Y'all working for the transition. Y'all working hard. Y'all putting in the work. Y'all putting in sweat. Y'all putting in tears. Y'all putting in time that you probably don't even have. You putting the time in. You saying, okay, God, what's next? How are we gonna help this person? How can we come up with this idea? God, keep me creative in my thoughts and mind. God, what am I gonna do? God, it's keeping you before the Lord. It'll keep you in a place of humbleness where you're saying, okay, God, I can't do this without you. But if I was to hand you a business, already set up with the secretary, with all the money you need, all of this, all of that, you be like, oh, that's what I want. But you don't appreciate it. Most people, when things are handed to them, even if let's say after Danielle Cardell, I'm gonna give each one of you an assistant every day. They're gonna type up your paperwork. We're gonna make sure that they're gonna do all of this for you. Somewhere in there, you won't appreciate it because you be like, she ain't even do it right. Like you'll pick it apart, or they ain't do it like me, or just something starts to happen, or there. And so then you have to learn how to work with people. And so then what happens is then God's saying, look, take this little bit that I have given you. Let me see what you can work with the little. Because with the little you learn, like if you had nothing, you learn how to build on it. A lot of people that have a lot, or they didn't start out with, if you can take me and knock me all the way down to the bottom and I can go bankruptcy or whatever, I know how to survive from the bottom and go back up again. But if you already had it at the top and you don't know how to build, you don't know what it's like to survive, you don't know what it's like to struggle, then you will suffer. That's how people a lot of people that's in corporate America, a lot of them that struggle, a lot of them commit suicide and all that, because some people they don't know the struggle is real.
Right.
Struggle. Everything was handed to me. Everything was handed to me. And so you don't want to be an entitled person.
That's good. That's good.
God said he was going to do it for me. I'm entitled to it. You're entitled to it, but there's a process, a progression, a developing that you have to go through. And if anything ever happens to you, If you started from the bottom and now you're here, is quoting from a song. But anyway, if you starting at the bottom and now you're here, you always know how to build to get there. If you start at the top and you don't know how to even work the bottom, that's a hard road to take if something happens to fall back down and you don't have anything to fall back on. So it's several ways that you can look at that. Don't get discouraged and, despise not the day of small beginnings. Despise not. One of the things that God told me to make sure that I would tell you all, my friend, Elder Kim and I was talking. I have to let y'all meet her, Elder Kim. We were talking and she was saying that sometimes God will give you a set of instructions, but there is a second set of instructions that he gives. When he told Abraham to go, up on the mountain to take his son, he didn't give him the full instruction about where the sacrifice was going to come from or where it was going to be.
Right, come on. That's
And
my
so
favorite.
in the process of that, we have, the tendency to say, he gave me one set of instructions, I'm going to follow that. And we have to know that there's also a second set that he's going to give us when we don't know what to do or where to go or how it's going to happen or whatever. But he was obedient with the first part. The second part God gave him and provided a ram in the bush. And so you have to understand that at each level, it's going to be a test of your faith to follow the instructions of God. And he will give you that second set of instructions. So you get the prophecy that you're going to be a millionaire, you're going to be a businessman, your business is going to be booming, you're going to have all this going on for you. There is another set of instructions God's going to give you, but you got to develop and progress in that process between getting from point A to point B. And so, it's just not a jump like that. It's not like, one day you hear and the next day, everything gonna fall into place. There's always going to be some type of progression. Now, with God, some people the door will open immediately and things will start happening. But you best believe that it didn't happen overnight like you think. Some people, it seemed like it's overnight, or when they share the testimony, it seemed like it's overnight. It wasn't. If you go back, you'll see some years they struggled. You'll see some years where they were, didn't have different things in their life. There is a progression. There's always a progression in going forward to where God really wants you to be.
And that's so good, because it's like, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I know I have so much potential and I'm in my progression stage. So it's like, I can't worry about where I'm not at, but just be ready for when the blessing happens, because I went through this, this happened, that happened, all these things happened, but all these things did was develop me. So I still have the potential to reach where my prophecy told me. I'm still able to reach where I'm going. It's just some things, like you say, it's that home cooking. I can either get a McDonald's blessing or I can get a Sunday soul food blessing. So it just depends on how quick you want your blessing. McDonald's don't taste like nothing, but when you get that soul food meal, it's going to bless your soul, your mind. You sitting back looking like, Lord, you gave me this meal and I thank you. It hit my soul where it needed it to be. So it's like, it gives me now that fire to understand. Just because I don't see it happening as quickly as I thought it should happen, I'm now in the mindset of, God, keep progressing me, keep developing me. I feel the development happening. I feel everything moving on the inside of me. So I can't be upset that I'm not where I want to be, because when I get there, then the sudden things are going to happen. Then that's when it's going to happen suddenly. That's when I'm going to catapult into everything that I needed to have. Because it's just like you say, once you get the progression down and you understand, I have the potential. So it's really nothing stopping me, because sometimes we think that, okay, I really can't do this. They say I have the potential, but you start doubting yourself. Take doubt out of the equation. Once you stop doubting yourself and you just keep working and keep developing yourself, then things will start happening suddenly out of nowhere. You can go from having nothing to something overnight. But like you say, you got to know the background. You got to know the history. You got to know I cried every night. You got to know that I was working 10 jobs just to make it happen. You got to realize I was stressed out of my mind. It just didn't just fall in my lap. You got to know the background of what I've been through. Once you understand my testimony, then you're able to understand how it happened the way it happened. So it's just mind-blowing now just to really sit here to hear all of this, because this is really where I am in my life. I know I have the potential, but now I understand I have developed so much. This business has developed in the last 3 years. We started with nothing, just sitting at an idea. Somebody put us together saying, I think y'all will work well together. Me and Danielle didn't even know each other. So it was like we both had the potential, but now we are in the progression stage of how this business has progressed to being here in business 3 years. We have our LLC, we have our city license, our county license, we have our trademark. We literally have everything to be in business. So the potential was there, but now to look at the progression is just mind-blowing as I sit here, because there's been some hard times, some good times. I'm just gonna sit over here because Jesus is doing a bunch. I'm just like, it's a lot happening. Jesus, when you look back from where you came from, that's when you just say, Lord, I thank you. I don't know how I got here, but I'm here.
And you have to be grateful. See, a lot of times when we're progressing, you know what happens? We stop looking at where we've come from. It's not to look at it and say, oh, look at what we've done, but it is to say, okay, we are doing something. We are moving. God has opened doors. God has made a way. God is giving clients in this season. God is giving clients in this season. God is opening doors in this season. God is moving. I'm learning something in this season. So it's about even being grateful for those things. Because I know a lot of places and different things that they done shut down. Ain't nothing going on. Ain't nothing flowing, and ain't nobody even trying to get stuff started. And so you have to be grateful for where you are and see those little things and continue to push forward. And like I said, come up with those, commit to what's the next step. Okay, what's the next level? What's next for us? Okay, we trying to get this many clients. How are we going to do that? What are we pushing towards? What, to constantly stay before God about what's next for you and for your business and even in your personal lives. And so you just have to stay on track in this season of progression. I'm developing things. You might go to some seminars, some small business seminar. You just don't know what God is doing, how he's going to develop you. And you have to be able to have your ear to hear him. So when he speaks and tell you to try something different or something new, that you do it. A lot of times when it comes to failure, it's because you didn't turn the curve when you were supposed to turn the curve. In your progression, you can be moving forward and God will say turn, and we don't want to turn because we done got so familiar with what we're already doing. I went to get my hair braided up. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And the girl was doing my hair. She must have been new to the shop or whatever. And she asked the owner, she said, have you ever thought about using, she named some products and different types of hair and all of that. And she said, no, I don't want to do that because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, what she didn't know was some of the products that she was talking about, I had experienced somebody that used them before, and it would help their business if they would do that. It would cut down on time. It's a better product. It's some things in there. But the owner was like, oh, no, if it ain't broke, we ain't going to fix it. And so you have to be careful that in your progression, there is a curve that you have to turn to stay on point, to make sure that you don't miss out on different innovations and different, things that, because technology is changing every day. You want to make sure that you even up on that, that you're not trying to present to me a VHS DVD and we not even in that season. You got to, it's a lot to this thing when you talk about having potential and having progression. You can be stuck in, you can have a potentially good idea, but it's not good for that particular, client or person or whatever. So in all your, whatever businesses you're in or whatever facets or communities or whatever, it's not always, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You be able to move forward so that you won't get left behind.
That's good. Sometimes we're afraid of the pivot. There is purpose in a pivot, but sometimes we're afraid of the pivot.
Can't even pivot, can't turn, you got, so all of that is important in your progression. To be able, progression is movement, is development. So continual developing, watching the times, praying, seeing where God wants you to go, seeing, in my life, do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Right now, I feel like we are at the most creative point in time. It's a lot of people this is the time to, start the business or, advance the business or come up with another attachment that will add to the business, or, it's really a creative time right now, especially with, everything that's going on, that you can add so much more to whatever you're doing, even to yourself. And so I'm even praying for myself. I'm saying, okay, God, what else I need to add to my resume?
Come on, slashes, like you told us, slashes.
Slashes.
Just start adding some stuff. Add the titles.
Yes. So when you call my name out, I'm gonna have all those little things behind, behind my name, and it won't necessarily be, it makes some people might be going back to school, some people not. Mine might just be creative things that I've, tapped into, and I've had some job offers to do some things that, people like, you don't do that, but hey, you never know what the doors he's gonna open with that. And so get that resume built up, that you're not just, progression is continual.
Mm-hmm.
That it talks about Paul, and Paul is talking about how he is not apprehended. That means I'm pressing toward the mark. The mark is a higher calling. I don't care where it is, in business, in your life, in your ministry, in your relationship with Christ, it's always a continual progression. You get to one point and you keep moving. You go to another point, you keep moving. Okay, yeah, y'all got y'all doing your business, but God may expand you into something else.
Mm-hmm. God
may add to where you are. Yeah, I preacher, pastor, I can sing too. I'm gonna be a singer. God adds to. God gives you talents to add to what you're already doing, or he'll give you not just a good idea, but the God idea. He would give you that God idea that would take you, and open up new doors for you. But a lot of times we have to be willing and even hearing the Spirit of God when he begins to speak about it, so that you could be in tune with where he is in the next phase of your development. So in progression, there's always movement. You're never at the top. You're never at the top. It's always more. That's why you see how some of these rappers, they be rapping, and some of them stop rapping and they selling, products. They went from products to movies, from movies to, because it's always a progression. Mm-hmm. And so your potential, from potential to progression, it has the ability to be just, wow, at this particular time in history, in this world, it could be anything. Mm-hmm. If you call me tomorrow and say, y'all have added another aspect on to what you all do, I'll be like, go ahead on.
Right. We're already doing so much.
You're doing so much.
Marketing, podcast, what's next, Lord? I like that you said that, though, when you were talking about that there's levels to this, right? You're adding on. That sometimes we get so stagnant in what we've done. But I remember listening to a TD Jakes message, and he said, master your level, then move to the next. He never said master your level and stay at that level. It's
Yeah.
master that level, then move to the next level and master that level. And then one of my prayers that I say daily is, Lord, I thank you for the next. And then one of my friends asked me, why do you always pray for the next? Are you ever going to be at the next? And I said, no. Why would you ask me if I'm ever going to be at the next? I'm never going to be at the next level. I'm always praying for the next level because I want to elevate. I don't care how high I am. I could be a billionaire and I'm still praying for the next level. I could be a Fortune 500 company. We're still praying for the next level. We could conquer Tennessee, conquer the US, but we're still praying for the next level because I feel like that's what people get in their head. They have this level of success, but then once they reach that, they plateau. We don't want to plateau. It's always higher. And that's why we started this podcast called Evolving You, Embrace Your Next Realm, because we don't want our listeners to get stagnant and stay on the level you are. We want you to embrace your next realm because we're always believing that we're going to evolve. See how I did that transition? We're going to evolve to the next realm. Why stay where you are when you can evolve to higher? I don't even know. But we can talk to you forever. You have anything else you want to add? Because we've been talking for a strong 50 minutes and we could keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry. Look, you have to give me time limits.
No. There is no time limit. This is our show. This is our website. So there are no time limits. We just wanted you to know that we wanted you to talk because we knew that you were going to give us a good word. A good word. Is there anything that you wanted to add or what are you working on? What's coming up for you?
Let's look at these, honey. It's some things in the work.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, really, during this time, just really never be afraid to revamp. That's what God is dealing with me, revamp and revise. So, even if you have to go back and write the vision, revamp the vision, never be afraid of that. And so that's what I'm doing, even with my life, revamping and revisiting and seeing some things that I'm just saying, asking God, had some opportunities to maybe do some things out of town, and I'm working. I'm trying to see what the Lord is saying.
We shall see.
Yes, so I'm excited. Like I said, I'm trying to add some slashes to that resume.
Right. And we're here pushing you. Right. We're going to push you towards your slashes because we want you to embrace your next realm and evolve. We don't want to go to the next level without you. We're trying to bring you with us, right?
That's right. And I said, I might have to be a life coach, anything just to kind of help people along the way. Because I'm realizing that we're in a generation of where people just need, and to me, it ain't even like a life coach. It's just somebody that can be there to just help you stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say a life coach because some people need more like mothering than like a life coach. It's that mother type of stuff where you say, I just wish somebody would. And so God said, the thing that you wish, when my mom died years ago, I used to have this thing. I wish I had somebody in my life that would help me push, not just help me, but push me, just talk to me. And so I want to be that person that, if you need to call me and I can just talk you through some things. Sometimes the answer is really in your own mouth.
Right.
You need to talk it out with somebody. And so just being that type of person, especially, right now where people just feeling like they're, so alone and just ain't nobody out there and poor me. And I'm like, I'm sitting up here chilling and I'm like, I'm ready to give, advice or just to be a listener. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be a professional listener and encourage people.
Come on, professional listener.
Keep moving in God. Keep moving in God and staying focused. And so I'm progressing myself. Like I said, you never stop. So my possibilities is in prayer. I'm praying and saying, God, what do you have for me to do, and send those people my way so that I can be a blessing to them.
Thank you so much for joining us for this great episode of Potential versus Progression. I hope that this helped our listeners. And as always, we thank you all for watching. Please share it on all platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We're on Anchor FM, YouTube, WordPress. Just Google The Transition or Evolving You on your favorite platforms, and we're right there. Or search. I said Google. I meant search. Search for us, and we're right there. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to embrace your next ram. Bye, guys.